So we did this, right? Like after the initial program, everything over there, with car underscore one until there, everything went fine.
Okay.
But then we did this, right? So that we could make it a variable and then we could define the variable later, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So when we do that, it tells that, you had made a variable over here. So you need to enter the variable, you can't just close the bracket. So
Hmm.
that error came. So now I have changed it. And I also realized that I made a mistake while doing this. These are curly brackets, right? So I made curly brackets,
Hmm. Okay.
right? Right. So I do Honda dot start, or do I have to do self or something over inside the start thing?
So one thing which you are missing here is this curly braces only will work when you are using string formatting in Python. And for using string formatting in Python, you always have to start with an F at the start of
Oh. So print के पहले F आता है ना,
print.
right?
No, no, print round bracket and then F. Same everywhere.
Right. And what function was S doing? F doing? Yeah, now it works. Thank you.
This string
Oh,
formatting F, right? That basically what it does, it converts if you are defining any variable under
curly brackets.
curly brackets, then it will get you the actual value instead of printing
Value instead of just printing
the dollar name. Yeah.
the curly bracket as a text.
Yes.
Okay, got it, got it, got it, got it. Thank you so much.
Okay. So can somebody tell me what is the difference between a class and an object?
Object is in a class. Like object is a part of a class. It's a subset of a class, wherein the class is the superset.
Okay, that's fine. Anything else? Or how exactly, like, can you give an example of how exactly differentiate between, like, let's say, what is a class and what is an object?
Um, can we say that class could be variable while the objects in the class are going to be static? Can we say that?
Not exactly, but yeah,
Okay.
I mean, somewhere close.
Okay.
Like I gave you some example with respect to blueprint and the actual object. Do you guys remember? So if you guys remember that I said that a class is nothing but a blueprint, while an object is the real thing, right? Like basically a class, you can define a class which can have all the attributes, functions, features, and whatnot like defined in it. Like basically, it's like a sort of an idea or a blueprint or a structure which you define, right? And once you define that structure, now if you want to build something out of it, then you create an object out of it. So we created a class named as vehicle and we gave multiple features, functions, and start, stop, brake, accelerate, and everything. We defined the functions and then we created an actual car, which is nothing but Mercedes, Honda, or whatever, right? Like that is the difference between class and an object. Like for example, animal is the class, cat, dog, deer, lion are the actual animals, but nothing but objects, right? Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this, guys? Shall we move ahead? This understanding is very important. Okay, let me ask you guys. Okay, now we will understand. Okay, what exactly we just a minute. What we will today understand about OOPS concepts, and mainly about two things. The first thing is inheritance. Okay, what exact? So with this, so basically, I will. So we basically are now trying to understand a little advanced concept, which is like which basically formulates a lot of today's modern programming languages. This concept is being used at almost every other programming language, be it Java, be it C++, or be it Python, be it JavaScript, right? These basically have something called as object-oriented programming language. OOPS concept, object-oriented programming system. So what exactly is object-oriented programming system? So what we here do is we deal with objects. Now, what are objects made of? Objects are basically made using classes. So we create multiple classes and we can derive multiple objects out of it. Like you can basically have, let's suppose we can have one main class. Okay, let's suppose animals, and inside animals you can have two subsections, like carnivorous and what is the other thing, like the carnivorous, which basically consume meat, and herbivorous, which basically consumes only plants, right? Like how, what are we are carnivorous. I mean, depending, like I or to be very simple, like to give very simple example, humans can have three different types of diets. One is vegetarian, one is non-vegetarian, one is eggetarian, right? So basically you can have a main class. Okay, let's take an example of animals, and within animals you can have different types of subclasses. For example, mammals, reptiles, and like whatever, like many other subjects, right? But each and every one of them belong to the main class, right? So since each and every one of them belong to the main class, is it really necessary to create multiple main class for the same type of animals? No, right? Like one of the examples which I can give you is of vehicle. Now, can you name different types of vehicle? There are two-wheelers, there are three-wheelers, there are four-wheelers, there are six-wheelers, there is truck, there is bus, there is a train, there is aeroplanes, so there are like different types of vehicles, right? So suppose if I want to create, suppose if you are trying to create a system, software system for tours and travels company, let's say Akbar Travels, like which deals with a lot of traveling and tourism and everything, right? So now if you want to create a like proper structure for all of the vehicles they can have aeroplanes, they can have cars, they can have trains, they can have anything. So if you want to create a if you want to create a like proper structure associated with it, what you will do, what you will create a main class, right? You will create a main class, and from that main class you can make the subclasses. Like if I just go and say inheritance example, say for example, what could be the best example? Yeah, like this is the exact same example which I was telling you guys. Okay, like, okay, where did the image go? No worries, I will show you the images here itself. See, like for example, vehicles now have bikes. Inside bikes, there are pedal bikes, motorbikes, cars, they have pickups, sports car, estate cars, and then there is buses, there is trucks. So basically, vehicles is your main class, and the other things are your subclasses. And inside subclasses, you have other subclasses as well, right? So for doing this, we basically use something called as inheritance. This is nothing but a concept where you are inheriting the properties. So here in this case, in this case, vehicle, what are the common properties which a vehicle might have? Now, whatever you see, bikes, cars, buses, trains, trucks, or everything will have an engine. Everything will either run in, everything will have like same functionality like stop, start, brake, accelerate, and everything. Although the gearbox might change, right? But everything remains the same. So that is why vehicles will have all the common properties, all the common functions which are found across all of the classes. Okay. Now using this vehicle main class, you can create bikes, and then in that bikes you can create additional properties or additional functions which are just related for bikes. And then you can do the same for cars or buses or trucks. Like each in using the same at using this main class which is vehicle. Okay, you can create all of the subclasses which has common properties, but also additionally it will have its own property. Okay. So now you will ask, then I mean, why exactly are we doing it? Like, what is the reason of like, okay, inheriting properties from other like main class? I will then like give you a very sarcastic answer that while we are like we inherit the properties from our parents, right? Like that is how generational wealth goes on. Similarly here also, here you are inheriting the properties from your main class. Like you are basically trying to get all the common properties, and then you are having your own additional property as well, right? Similarly you will create your own additional property. Like, so okay, let me give you a working class example. For example, if I say class, let's say pet. Okay, I say class pet. I have created a class pet. I will define the init function for this. Okay, self, and I will have name and age for the same, or name and name of the pet, and age of the pet, right? And I will and using the self keyword, I will store all of these values in the self keyword, right? Now what I will do is I will, let's say I will just print, I will define a function to print the pet details using self itself. So I can just say, and pet name is self dot name. I have to, since I'm using string formatting, I have to say F, and then I'm pet age is self dot age. Okay, this is my pet class. So if I say that, okay, pet one equal to pet, I have to give the name and age I can say, let's say 2. Okay, now if I call pet one dot pet details, I can, you should name it using, see, everybody is able to understand until this point, right? Every like this is what we had learned yesterday. So now what I want to do is use this pet class. Okay, use this super class or use this main class. Okay, use this main class to to basically have, I mean, there can be pet can be of different types, right? It can be a goat, it can be a cat, it can be a dog, it can be a sheep, it can be like birds, it can be fish, it can be anything. So I want to create one more class Okay, but this time let's say I want the pet is of the type of cat. Okay, and here is the example of inheritance. This is your main class or super class. You can say that super class, and this is your inherited class. Okay, this is basically like your inherited class. Okay, so here while I'm creating cat, I will inherit pet. Okay, I will give the name from where I am inheriting the main class. Okay, so here also you have to init, give init function, and this init function will obviously take whatever you need, like let's say name and age. Okay, and uh, what I will, and there is a keyword which is called as super dot init. So what I'm doing here is, since you are using the pet class, okay, the pet class from here, I am initializing the pet class with the name and age, whatever you will be, and then I will be calling the, okay. So now if I do this, okay, if I now I have created a class called as cat, but it has inherited the properties from the main class, which is pet class. So by default, you can use all of the functions which are available inside the main class. Okay, that is how I have used this. Okay, now if I basically say, like let's say I call like the cat class. Okay, like I will give Oreo, and then I say like 3. Then what would happen? See, I here in the cat class, I didn't define any pet details, right? I didn't define the pet details. Here on the main class, I have defined the pet details, right? So even though I haven't defined the pet details here, okay, even though I haven't defined the pet details function here, I'm still able to use it. Why am I still able to use it? Because I have inherited this pet details function from the main class, which is pet. Okay. And using this pet, which is nothing but my super class, I am calling the pet details once after initializing it. Okay. Now also you can do, I mean, any doubts until now? Any doubts, guys?
No, we are trying to process this information.
Okay. Take your time. It's okay. So basically using this main class, okay, I'm just creating a child class or a sub, you can child class or you can say subclass. Okay, you can say main or parent class or superclass, whatever you can refer it. But the idea here is very simple. Okay, the reason why this inheritance is introduced is because, for let's say, for if you have to create, let's say, 10 data types, 10 class. Okay, and now there are some common parameters, there are some common functionalities among these 10 different classes, which is generally the which is, while you're getting a software, creating a software, you will see that when you are creating multiple classes, there will be some common parameters among the class. So instead of generating 10 different types of class, you can create one main class or parent class or super class, whatever you may call it. Okay, you can create one main class, and use that main class to create the other subclass, so that whatever common parameters you have, you can define it here and use it directly inside the child class. And inside the child class, you can have your own functions as well. Like for example, you can have, let's say, I will say get pet age and self. Okay, you can just say return uh, pet age is self dot age. Okay, now I have done this, and then when I say Oreo dot get pet age, it will give me pet age is 3. Okay. Now one thing which one thing which you might ask here is, what would happen? Let's say what would happen that here that you have some common parameters which are calling it here, right? Pet details. What, I don't need the pet details function to be called from parent class. I want it, I want it to be called within, I mean, I want to define my own parent, I want to define my own pet details class function inside my child class, which will be different from the one which has been defined here. Okay. So what you can do, you can name exactly the same exact thing, pet details. Okay. Which will have self, and then you can print updated child class pet name self dot name. Updated child class pet age. Okay. Now before doing this, right? Like let's say if I don't do this, okay. Now if I do this, there won't be anything. But you can, like, even though I haven't defined here pet details, but since I have basically inherited the class pet, the main class pet, and created the cat class, I can still call Oreo dot get, not get, what was that? Pet details. Okay. It will give me pet name is Oreo, pet name is pet age is 3, which is coming from the main class, right? Which is basically coming from the main class. Okay. Now, suppose if I want a different implementation of the same function, I want my own implementation. I don't want to use this. I want to use the one which I have just created. What you can do, I will uncomment this. Okay. I will run it. And now if I do this exact same, I will like keep this, the last output, and I will say pet details. Now it is printing from here. It is not executing from here, because this is the property of inheritance, that suppose if you want to create your own implementation of the function which has been defined on the main class, you can do it. You can update that function with it with your own implementation. That is why when I previously called this Oreo.pet details, when it was not defined in it, it used the function from the main class. But when I defined it in the child class, it used its own implementation.
Shadir bhai, sorry, one doubt. So
Hmm.
as you said, like it was fetching data from the line number 1. Okay.
Hmm.
Then it should fetch the age 2 instead of 3. Correct.
No, right? Here I have given 3, right?
So you have updated the information, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And but okay, got it.
I mean,
Yes,
previously
sir.
I have given 2, but right now, see, this cat Oreo, this cat, whatever information I'm giving, it is not only going to your pet cat class, But also it is going to the pet class. So you are ultimately using the pet class first. Okay, your pet class first, and then you are also like using the pet class. You have created the cat, and you basically are then like using the you can use, like if I do this right, you will find four outputs. Okay, see, if I do this, you first get this statement which is coming from the main class. Why? Because I, after initializing the pet class, the super pet class, I'm also calling the function with the super keyword saying pet details. So I am here calling this function. That is whenever I'm initializing the cat, whenever I'm making an object from the cat class, it basically initializes the pet class and also implements the pet details. That is why you're getting the print. Okay. But if even if pet details you are implementing from the pet class, but if I call the pet details, here it will give you the implementation of the cat class, not the pet class, which is the main class. I know it will be a little tricky to understand at first go, but yeah, try to understand. After this, you have to create your own pet, your dog class on your own. I won't write the code for you. And let me know if you have any doubt.
Sir,
Yeah, you are saying something?
yes. So,
Okay.
here you said you specified Oreo equal to cat of Oreo comma 3, right?
Mhm.
Is that why it will take only from pet? I mean, cat class.
Yeah, that is why the reason why it will take it from cat class. Okay. Yeah, cat. Yeah, I mean, you can even use pet, but using pet, like then you won't be able to use the child class. You will only be use main class.
Child class. It will run this super dot pet details also. So
Yes,
there will
yes,
be four output.
yes. It will run the super dot pet details, which is nothing but pet dot super get pet details.
So it will run both the
Yeah,
pet
both.
class and cat class.
Yes. That's right. It will initialize both pet class and cat class, and also it will run the pet details function.
So pet details function from both class.
Sorry.
The pet details function from both class.
No. Pet details function just from the pet class, because super refers to pet, not cat.
No.
I have one question, maybe very silly. Here in define underscore pet dot underscore age, this here you have written like return the string, and next may you have mentioned print. Why like this?
I mean, here I mean, return basically, as I said, return will basically give you a result back. Okay. Now, if I like basically, if I like call this pet class, okay, if I call Oreo dot get page get pet age, it will return this. Okay, it will return this, but return as in like it won't it will, you can store this pet is a pet age is 3 into a variable. For example, let's say I'm giving a variable age. Okay, now since I'm returning that, I can use this wherever I want, since the value is stored in age variable. But it is not the same for pet details. Why? Because once you are just printing the statement, you are not returning any output. That is why if I now run it, like you will see that the result is none. Like you are not able to print anything. If I print this age, you will get none. Okay, but if I say Oreo get pet age, you will get the out. So basically, whenever you want to use the output from this function and assign it to a variable, then you will say return, because by returning the value, you can use it anywhere you want. But if you just want to print it, then I'm just printing it. Like you can also return it here as well, but yeah. You can also return multiple values from the same function. For example, if I say, let's say return pet details self, return self dot name, self dot age. This will get written in tuple. Okay, now if I just say Oreo, now let's say return pet details, you will see that now this age, or let's say I will define it properly, pet details. This pet details is nothing but an tuple of name and age. So if I just say type of pet details, you will see it as is a tuple. So if since it's a tuple, you can say pet details of 0 index, you will get Oreo. Pet details of 1 will be, what would be pet details of 1? Can somebody tell me? If I run this, what would be the answer?
Age
Age, yes, but what exactly?
3.
Yes. So you can also have, so whenever you're returning it, returning some value, you can use that value anywhere else. Like to do any other operation, to you can store that value to do any other operation or do further operations or any other thing. But if you're just printing it, then you're just printing it in the console. You can't use that value. That's the difference between returning and printing. Understood? So let me know if you guys have any doubts with this. This is a very important concept. So it is basically used a lot of times. So yeah, so let me know if you guys have any doubts with respect to this. So here we have introduced one more keyword, which is super. So this super class, it basically means super class. This super keyword, it basically refers to the keyword pet. Sorry, the class pet, because pet is the super class for this. The class which we are trying to create, cat class. See, I will tell you. Okay. So what is exactly we mean by inheritance? So as the name indicates, inheritance basically means copying some properties or some parameters from the main class or the you can say super class. Okay, so you are trying to like, and why do we do it? The reason why we do it is because it then becomes very easier to create multiple classes of the same type. जैसे सिंपल अगर सिंपली अगर कहा जाए, जैसे इफ यू अगर हमारे पास लेट्स सपोज कि हमें एक टूरिंग कंपनी के लिए हमें डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ क्लासेस बनाना है विच बट अल्टीमेटली एवरी अदर क्लास वॉट एवर यू विल मेक will be of the type vehicle, right? Now instead of like having multiple classes which has common properties, you can create a main class. एक main class बना सकते हैं जहाँ we can define the common properties which a vehicle will have for sure. For example, in this case, like fuel amount, capacity, apply brakes, these all things are for sure it should be will be present in a bus, in a car, in a truck, right? So so basically defining this again and again 3 times will be more work. That is why I have created a main class which has all the common properties. In our case, I have created a class pet which will for sure will have name and age, right? So I have created a main class. Now using the main class, I can create its subclass, which is nothing but here cat. Now cat is one of the pet which people uh, use. So for example, in case of vehicle, okay, I will tell you about vehicle. Okay. Uh, I mean, just you can copy this, but let me explain it about vehicle. For example, very simple, I will write the code. Okay. I will say class vehicle. Okay. I will use this exact same example. Okay. I will first define the init function, self, and vehicle can have name, engine, and mileage. Okay. And it can even, let's say, have tire. Okay. Now, yeah, self dot name equal to name, self dot engine. I'm just storing every other information available to the self keyword. Self dot mileage equal to engine. Sorry, mileage self dot tire equal to tire. Okay. Now I will say define get vehicle details self. I will just say print vehicle name okay, vehicle engine, vehicle mileage, vehicle tires. Okay, this is your main class. Okay. Now, can somebody tell me what is the most famous vehicle in Chittagam or in Mumbai, let's say? What is it? Auto. So let's say I will say auto rickshaw. But here, okay, here I will now create this auto rickshaw from the main vehicle class. So I will use vehicle here vehicle. Okay, previously I was whenever I was doing I was doing class vehicle, sorry, class auto rickshaw. And I was doing something like this, but here the difference is that I have added now here vehicle. Okay, so since I'm using this vehicle, I need to initialize it. So I will be initializing it when I will be initializing the auto rickshaw variable itself. So for that, I need to have self, name, engine, mileage, tire. Okay, even I can have one more parameter. Let's say tire, right? Let's say Windows. Windows. I can have one more parameter as opposed to the main class. I will have one more parameter, which is like Windows, and one more parameter named as fuel. Okay. Now, what I will do, I will first initialize the vehicle class using super. You can also like call the vehicle class as well here, but I will use super because super is the keyword for doing it. So super dot, I will call the init function using, but this vehicle class requires only name, engine, mileage, and tire. It doesn't require windows and fuel. Okay. So I will just say super in name, engine, mileage, and tire. Okay. Now I will define one more additional method named as get additional details from auto class, from basically from child class. Okay, here self will come. I will say print. What is the additional detail which we are getting here? This is nothing but windows and fuel. Okay, so I am just saying auto rickshaw additional auto rickshaw windows self dot windows print auto rickshaw fuel. I can say self dot fuel. Okay. Now, if I run this, okay, if I just say vehicle, okay, like let's say vehicle, I will define vehicle class, vehicle object one. So when I say vehicle, I need to give name. Let's say I will just say CC auto. I will just say engine, I can say CNG engine. Mileage is approximately 15. 15 can be a number. And tire 3. Okay. I'm now able to like get vehicle details. I'm able to print everything, right? I'm able to basically print everything. Okay. But if I do the same exact thing using auto rickshaw, it will give me an error. It will say that missing two position arguments, which are windows and fuel. Okay, which is nothing but windows and fuels. Okay, so that is why I need to give two more details. It is windows, how many windows? 0 windows, and auto has 0 windows, right? And fuel, you can say fuel capacity is, let's say 10 liters. 10 liters fuel capacity. Okay. Now if I run it, it will give me for sure proper, like it is properly running it, and it has been initialized. What would happen here is when I initialize the auto rickshaw class, it first initialize the super class. The super class, it called the init method of the super class. What is the super class init method? Which is vehicles init method, the init method of this. Okay. So what exactly I'm doing here is I'm using the vehicle class details as well. Okay. Now, let me ask you, Siraj, or anyone can answer. Have I defined get vehicle details inside auto rickshaw? Have I defined get vehicle details inside auto rickshaw?
No.
No, right? So, yeah, thanks for pointing out. See that this is one. Thanks for pointing out. Here, although I got the fuel windows and fuel, but I didn't updated the self keyword. So I need to update the self keyword. Self dot windows equal to windows. Self dot fuel equal to fuel. Okay. Now since even though I didn't define the get vehicle details, okay, get vehicle details inside the auto rickshaw class, but still I would be able to use it. The reason being that I am inheriting this get vehicle details function from the vehicle class, which is the main class of auto rickshaw. So if I now say cc auto dot ge, you will see two functions. This is the function from the main class, get vehicle details, and this is a function which I have created additionally. So even if I haven't defined it, if I call it, it will give me the output. Why? Because I have copied all the properties of the main class. And if I call cc auto dot get additional details, it will also give me, yeah, so I need to run this once again. Yeah, see, auto rickshaw windows, auto rickshaw fuel capacity, I can see. So what am I doing here is basically I am inheriting all the properties. Okay, let's suppose I can inherit the all the properties. Let's say start, say self. I can just say print starting starting vehicle. I can also say stop. I can also say break. Okay. Now, even though I haven't used it in the auto rickshaw class, I haven't defined start, stop, or break. Okay. But if I now do this, and if I now see cc auto dot, see, if I do this, then you will find that start, stop, and every other function is available. Start, stop, break, right? So this is, so basically whatever you are like you have defined it, and if you want to use it in another child class, you just have to inherit this class, and you can by default use all of the functions without even having to define it. That is the property of inheritance. This is the property of inheritance. You are just basically creating uh, so simple example is like, as the name suggests, inheritance, whatever is your property in future will be your child's property. Land, gold, everything, whatever you have earned, whatever you have in your bank balance will be inherited by your child, right? Even though your child hasn't earned it, right? Even though he hasn't earned it, but still it will get inherited to your child. This is a similar thing. Even though I haven't defined the start, stop, break function, I can still use it. दोनों का खून का रिश्ता है. That is the, I mean what inheritance indicates. Any doubts?
Shadir,
Hmm.
in this auto rickshaw class, auto rickshaw,
Hmm.
define in it, you are also mentioned the self, name, engine, mileage, tire, window. You have mentioned all the things like
Hmm.
which we are also getting from the vehicle class. You mentioned that also.
Hmm.
So we can skip this all this which is available in the vehicle class, only which is not available we can use that only in this.
No, so the reason here you have to use like you have to basically whenever you are giving since while defining auto rickshaw, right, you are not using the properties from the vehicle, like you are just creating auto rickshaw. मतलब हम सिर्फ ऑटो रिक्शा ही यूज कर रहे हैं, तो मतलब वी आर नॉट लाइक वी आर नॉट utilizing the vehicle. I mean, we are like what typically would happen is like this. We are not defining vehicles. That is why you have to, because if you skip this, right? Like if I just give tire, windows, and fuel, it will give you 4 positional arguments are missing. So you have to provide all of it. I mean, one thing which you can do is, let's suppose if you have already have got the instance of a vehicle class, okay, and then you want to use it inside auto rickshaw, you can also do the same. But for that, you have to define it here as like you can just say, I mean, but people generally don't do that. Okay. What typically happens is that since you are directly defining the auto rickshaw class itself, you have to give each and everything. So only the properties, whatever properties the class vehicle will have, you can easily use it. But for giving, for basically providing the input, you have to provide each and everything. Any doubts? You can copy this example first. Since the code is long, I can give you, I mean, paste it on the chat. You can also like use it so that we can save some time. But yeah, try to understand each and every line of code.
By scroll down a little up, where we had the cat running, Yeah, so cat, we define a cat. Okay, fine.
Faizan bhai, you have a, I mean, while creating the init function, you didn't use space. So define and then space and then init. It should be like that. That's why you are getting error.
Yes, okay.
We copy paste the vehicle example as well.
Shadir, I'm not able to run this last one here. Like, can I share my screen real quick and show you what's up? Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
For the others, I have pasted the vehicle class vehicle and auto rickshaw on the chat. You can try it. Okay.
So this was the first one, right? The initial one. And I did, this pet one equal to this
Hmm.
set, small set. And so then we come to making a subset, right? So
So the
this is how,
first error which you have done is while init function, it should be like double, like it should have underscores on both the side, like while you're defining it, the second line itself. Yeah.
sorry, right. So that is, but that code is still ran for some reason.
No
Okay,
worries.
so now I do it. No, I have to do pet details right here, like the initial set.
Yeah.
The initial set was capital P.
I guess it was capital D with a small p.
Okay, the final value. Okay. Is this the one I'm calling, or am I calling the first superset wala part?
Superset wala, because here since you have inherited the pet details,
Yeah.
okay. Now cat, doggy, and then pet one dot pet details.
Should I
These
call?
So the reason here why you're getting error is while you are initializing the class pet, there you have given pet details all small. It
Pet
should
details, yeah, the other one, yeah.
no, not here. You have here it is perfect, but here
Hmm.
the number 4, like class cat pet, yeah. Line number 4 super dot pet details, right?
Yeah.
Super. Here you are not giving the proper function name. The
So I
do,
have to call this one, is it?
yeah.
Okay. That is the logic I wasn't understanding it. Okay, ठीक है. So ये हो गया. यहाँ पर I can,
You can do whatever you want.
because I'm making this new variable here,
Yes.
like, okay, so then I call this here.
Hmm. Yeah.
self में भी small capital का error है last line defining.
Right. That code still ran though, like for whatever reason when I ran it.
So here you are running the pet details from the main class, from the super class. That
Right.
is why you are getting the output same. Now, if you say pet1 dot pet details, all small case, then you will get the other. Okay. Now, one more thing. Now, suppose if you want that, okay, whenever you call pet1 dot pet details, okay, now every time the pet details or value or information should come from your child class, which is nothing but your cat class, then you have to rename your defined pet details with basically it should have the same name. Okay. Like there over in the first main class, you have used a capital D. So can you use their capital D as well? Or while defining the cat class? Pet details. In the pet details, yeah,
Right. Yeah. This one, if I
this one.
make it capital, then I always get to call the one that I have in the superset. That's what you say.
Yes, in the subset, not in the superset, in the subset. So now if you run it, say run exactly same.
I change this as well.
No, no, that's fine because this method is not available in the main class, right? That doesn't matter. Can you run the class pet once again? Now run this once again. See, now the first output which you are getting is from the main class, right?
The
The main class.
this one, right?
Yeah,
No, no,
this
no. The main class. You're saying this
from the
one.
main class. This one, exactly. The pet
Okay.
details.
So why don't I just change that, right? If I change that, then I can uh visualize it more clearly, right? So then I make a doggy right here over here. So okay. So now I made it's still giving doggy, right? So it's
No,
calling it from the
it
subset
is.
function only.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it is though these two things are different. When I say it is using the
Hmm.
details from the main class, it basically
Hmm.
means whatever your name you are giving. Okay. So when you call cat, okay, since cat is now inheriting the main class which is pet, ओके, तो होता ये है कि कैट का क्लास कॉल करने से पेट का जो भी प्रॉपर्टीज है वो पहले रन होता है यूजिंग द वैल्यू विच यू हैव गिवन फॉर द कैट क्लास ऑन कैट क्लास इटसेल्फ। तो यहाँ भी कैट क्लास के लिए आपने डॉगी दिया है तो उसके लिए जो पेट के लिए पेट का जो डिटेल है वो भी डॉगी ही लेगा, वो कहीं और से कॉपी पेस्ट नहीं करेगा,
वहां से नहीं लेगा, मेन क्लास से नहीं लेगा.
मेन क्लास से नहीं लेगा। इट इज जस्ट यूजिंग द प्रॉपर्टीज, इट इज नॉट यूजिंग एनी वैल्यू। ओके।
So the recent property is the one that it's gonna take because I am keeping the same variables, right?
But
And
the
if I
reason,
was to, yes,
but the reason why it is giving here pet's name, have you in the class pet, where do you think you have said pet's name is doggy, pet's age is 5? Have you written
yeah,
anywhere?
no, no, only
So
here.
that thing is coming from line 3 where it is saying super dot pet details. Super here, the super basically refers to the pet class.
The main class,
The main
this
class
one,
basically, yeah, the super. So that is the reason here the pet details function which gets executed is from the main class.
right? But then we change it, right, as we go
Then
along,
we change it, and then we change it, and that's the reason the next time when you say pet1 dot pet details,
right? Does
it's
not return
not,
a cat, it returns a dog, right?
still it is giving dog only here if you see doggy and 5.
Yeah,
But here the when you say pet details, it is giving you this updated subset class pet name. It is not giving pet's name is doggy, it is giving your own implementation.
like you're saying that it's following these lines, right? It
Exactly,
has pulled
exactly,
up it has pulled up the cat thing right here.
exactly,
However, it's not displaying it below because then I changed it, right, as I went
exactly.
along.
That's the thing which I wanted you to understand. Yeah, it
That's
gets updated. Yeah.
okay.
I think when
Okay.
you use vehicle wala example, you will understand better because
Yeah,
in
yeah, that I understood. I was just not able to get the syntaxes right, so I came back to this one. That was fine. Vehicles understood.
yeah.
Thank you.
Shadu, can you scroll up to the vehicle wala code again?
Yeah, sure. Wait. Are you guys able to see the screen? Yeah. Any doubts? So if you see here, I have created a main class which is vehicle. Okay. And here I have basically used multiple functions. And here, whatever function I have used is so different, completely different from this function. Okay. Now, even though I haven't created the start, stop, brake functions in the auto rickshaw, but still I can be I will be able to use it. Why? Because I'm inheriting all these properties from the vehicle class. Any doubts? Siraj, did you got this?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. How about Faizan Bhai? You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about you have seen? Did you got it? Okay. Yeah. So what we can do, we can like create one more class, let's say car, from the same vehicle main class. And I can again like create, let's suppose, one more name, engine mileage. This four will be used by the main class. And I can say windows and fuel. And then I can like create maybe a very specific function which is only available in car. Let's say turn on AC self. Okay. I can say print turning on AC for car self dot name. So you won't find the AC on auto rickshaw, right? But also you can't say that every other vehicle will have AC. So that now this turn on AC is a very individual or maybe a very unique function which is only available in cars. So if I do this, right? Although now if I say car, let's say Honda equal to car, and inside I need to give the name first, Honda, and then the engine, let's say petrol, and then let's say your mileage is, let's say 12, and your number of tires is 4, and windows is again 4, and fuel is, let's say, 30 liters capacity, right? Now if I run this and if I say Honda, I can do everything. I can say like Honda dot start, Honda dot stop, not stop, I will say Honda dot brake, and what are the other functions? Brake, and then I can say Honda dot to get vehicle details, and then Honda dot get, sorry, turn on AC, see, starting vehicle, braking vehicle, vehicle name, vehicle engine, vehicle mileage, vehicle tires, turning on AC for car, Honda, stopping vehicle. See, even though I didn't have the start, brake, get vehicle details, or stop function defined here, but I can still use it. Why? The reason, because I have used vehicle as the main class for this car subset class. Understood? So likewise, there you can like create a main class. And by the way, not to get you guys complicated, but you guys can have multiple main class. Okay, there can be multiple classes from which you might need to, let's say, inherit properties. Okay, for example, just an example. Okay, just for example, although it's not true, but if I want to show you, if I do you see here Honda, right? Can you use Honda dot get additional details here? Can you do it? Why am I getting error? Can somebody tell me why am I getting error?
We have not given in the cars detail.
Yeah, because I'm not, I used vehicle, right? I have used vehicle as the main class. Okay, but if I change this to auto rickshaw, okay, if I change this to auto vehicle to auto rickshaw, what is happening here? I created the main class. This main class is basically inherited by auto rickshaw. Now for auto rickshaw, okay, auto rickshaw is now being used by the car. Just an example, just used by the car. So here for auto rickshaw, if I do this, since auto rickshaw takes, for the init, it takes all the parameters, I also need to give windows and fuel as well while in it. Okay, don't have to give this because auto rickshaw is already doing it for you. Okay, now if you do this, it will run, and this will also run. This is called as multi-level inheritance. So you have used class A, which is nothing but vehicle, inside class B, which is not auto rickshaw is using vehicle. You have defined vehicle is being used by auto rickshaw, and now auto rickshaw is being used by car. So you are inheriting the properties of both of these classes. And when you are inheriting, you just have to remember that whatever class you are using it as super, you have to make sure while initializing, you have to give the parameters same exactly for the superclass. You don't have to worry about this because this will automatically will be taken care by here. So this is called as multi-level inheritance. Like if you see, if I just say multiple inheritance, see, you can have multi-level inheritance is something like this. See, base class, intermediary class, and then derived class. Like this was our vehicle class. Like this was our vehicle class. This was our auto rickshaw class, and this was our car class. This was multi-level inheritance. Any doubts in this? And by the way, you don't have to remember each and everything, okay? I mean, you just have to understand that things like this exist in Python. I mean, you might be asked in interviews, but you just, I mean, for this, you have to just revise it. I mean, you might be asked that what is the difference between multi-level inheritance and multiple inheritance? Now, what do we mean by multiple inheritance is instead of instead of like having multi-level, okay, like deriving things from vehicle, let's suppose I will show you one more example. First of all, are you guys done with this?
No, I'll do it later. Like, let's finish it and then I'll do it.
Okay. Yeah. I have sent the chat, by the way, on the chat section, but let's see. This is called as multi-level inheritance. Okay. Now let's talk about multiple inheritance with a very basic example. Okay. Let's say let's suppose multiple. So I will create two class. Let's say bank account. Let's say yeah, saving bank account. Okay. Now this will have init self account number, balance, and let's say, yeah, these two things, not more than that. So what you will do here is self dot account number equal to account number, self dot balance equal to balance. So here you can define functions like show current balance. Let's suppose let's say here you would take self and you will say print current saving account balance self dot balance. You will create, let's say, one more like show account. Let's say, okay, you do not create this. You create one more class which says current or checking account, checking bank account, like the account which is used for credit operations by businesses. Define init self account number, and then same balance. Okay, we will have the same exact thing. Okay. Now you will say you will now say get account number. Say print account number Now, what if now if I create a main class, if I want to create let's say banking account numbers from both of the I want to inherit the properties of both of the classes. Okay, basically both of the classes, what I can do, I can just say account bank account. I can create a class known as bank account. Okay, and I can inherit both of them, saving a bank account and then checking bank account. Okay, and in the init function, I not only have to initialize the saving account. Okay, saving bank account, I have to call the init function. Here I will have account number and balance. Okay, account number and balance. That's it. I will just create only one, yeah, saving account, and then also I have to do the exact same thing. Why exactly? Then also I have to do the same exact thing with checking back account with init, whatever it is required. Okay, that's it. Now, okay, where exactly I'm getting error? That is the reason this indentation wasn't working. Okay. Remember previously we were inheriting properties from only one class. Okay, that is why you can use super keyword, because there was only one class and the super keyword can directly relate to the only one class which is associated here. But since here we are inheriting properties, we are using the properties from both of these classes. That is why I had to do the init from both of these classes. Okay. Now, if I create an object of the bank account object, in which I need to give the account number, let's say any random account number is 18, and account checking, and the balance required is like it is in minus. I'm very broke, like minus 9,000 or 3,000. Okay, so now if I do this, okay, wait. Um, init is missing. Where exactly? Here. Oh, okay. Here is account and balance. What is going wrong? Ach. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Acha, acha, okay, okay. Sorry, sorry. You also have to give self here. Yeah, you have to give self here because you are using it. Otherwise, like since, yeah, you have to give self here. And now if you do this, now even though in the class, I will keep it separate here. Okay. Even though in this bank account, I have not used get account number, I have not used show current balance, I can still use it. This is how you can also inherit from multiple classes. This is called as multiple inheritance. So if you see what is multiple inheritance, it is basically when you have two base class, like here we have checking account and saving account, and then using this both of the properties, or you can even have multiple classes and then you create one derived class out of it. Features of base one and features of base two plus derived. Plus you can here like have, you can also now have anything like for example, get all details. Okay. So even though you are not storing anything here, like you are not doing self dot account number equal to account number, self dot balance equal to balance, I can just say print account number, let's say self dot account number, print uh, yeah, balance. See now, even though I have not done here self, I have not written something like self dot account number equal to account number. I'm not doing that. I'm just basically, since I have already initialized saving bank account, checkings bank account, and I'm using these both properties in the bank account, it will automatically will come down. Like for example, if I say bank account dot get all details, it will give you the output. This is how you can use multiple classes combined together and use in one class. Any doubts? I have pasted on the chat box. Remember, previously we were using super keyword. Here, super cannot be used since we are initializing multiple classes. And super can only refer to one class, hence we cannot do that. I want to do one experimentation. Even this is the first time which I will do. Let's see if that happens or not. Okay. Yeah, you can't do something like this. Like you can't just directly call super and then or if you don't do this, what would happen? If I do something like this, then will it work? Yeah, it won't work. You have to do it only like this itself. Like here, super cannot be used. You have to name the class which you are initializing and use the self keyword. Any doubts?
Shadir bhai, I think a use case scenario for this particular functionality might be able to explain better. I'm getting like this is a, you know, superset, and then we have other subsets. Then we
So
can pull up the values accordingly.
yeah, so I mean, I will give you an example. Okay, like the use case which happens generally. Okay, now suppose there is we can take like this is the opposite of inheritance. Like suppose what would happen is, let's say you have created multiple classes. Let's say, mm, yeah, let's take school as an example. Okay, you have created one class for primary section, you have created one class for secondary section. Okay, now you want to basically create, I mean, use all of the properties which are in the primary section class and also which are in the secondary section class, okay, together. Then instead of like doing juggling by using different objects, you can create one class, okay, one class which inherits both of the classes. Like here it would be entire school, primary section, secondary section. And then you can like call all of the required functions inside one class itself.
Like, so looks like making a timetable for the games class.
Exactly. Like you can get that. Maybe you can arrange some, like if there is some function, if there is something happening in the school, then you can like have a create a function to notify each and every student.
Right, right, right. Got it.
Like one more example could be that let's suppose, I mean, very simple. There is a simple calculator. There is a scientific calculator. Okay, and then there is financial calculator. Okay, now you want to create a calculator which is universal, which can handle any type of operation. So what you can do, like I can like maybe write copy paste the code. I have the code with me. Let's suppose, okay, I have created let me write the code. Okay, I will also introduce to you guys, but first, are you guys done with this? I mean, I have pasted the code. Did you guys run it and check? I can show you like the calculator example which from which you will understand very better. Okay, so for example, I will create a class which is saying simple calculator. This is like the homework which you guys have done already. So what I will do, define init. Okay, and the init function will have self number one and number two. Okay, and yeah, self dot number one equal to number one. Right, I will define add self, which should return int of number one plus int of number two. Even I can have try and accept, so that whenever if there is a error, value error or type error which comes uh, when converting the integer, like suppose string, suppose the user has given string, then also it will like raise an error. Except value error or type error as e, print uh, error occurred while performing addition. What is the error? E will be the error. Okay, Or if you want to keep it generic, like, and if you want to get any error, then instead of value or accept a type error, you can just say exception. Okay. Now I will do this exactly same. Let's suppose I will add, this will be subtract. So it would be minus, and this would be subtraction. And then you have addition, subtraction, multiplication. Let me name it a little more precise. Okay. And then I have what, division, right? So let's say division. Okay. So simple calculator. Everybody knows this, like, I have no doubts, right? Can somebody tell me what is the error which I'm doing here? The person who indicates or points out the error as truly understand about classes. I have done one error here. Can you guys tell me? Until that time, I will write the below function, below class. Can somebody tell me what exactly is the error? Come on, guys.
Sir, which part you mean?
This part. Okay, I will tell you this. This is the part where the error is coming, where the error will come. This part.
Should we enclose that in a bracket?
No.
Help dot number one, self dot number two.
Exactly. Here I have not taken num1 and num2 here while giving the addition function. It should be self dot num1 and self dot num2, because I am referencing this number one and number two from here, right? That is why it shouldn't be just num1, it should be self dot num1 and self dot num2.
But we have already defined num1, num2, right?
Hmm. We have already defined it here. And for using it here, you have to say self dot num1 and self dot num2 instead of just plainly saying num1 and num2. Okay. So, and now suppose I create one more calculator which is used for, let's say, financial calculator. Okay, it will also have the same. Let's say in it, like the same exact thing. Can copy the same exact thing here. Here the self dot num1 would be like this. Num2 will be this. So I mean, it is just like some basic functionalities. Okay. Now I have created both of these. What I want to do now, I want to combine this simple calculator and financial calculator and create a class saying universal calculator, which can do both of the operations. Okay. So for doing it, what I can do, I can inherit both of these, simple calculator and financial calculator. Let's say simple calculator and financial calculator. Okay, I have inherited I have basically inherited both of them. And now when you if the init function, you will take number one and number two, obviously. And what you will do, you will first initialize a simple calculator because you will be using the functionality of the simple calculator, right? So that is why you will initialize the init function here using self num1 and num2. Okay, and then you will do the same for the financial calculator. Init self num1 and num2. Okay, that's it. Now inside this universal calculator, you can define maybe some more function. Let's say like floor division. Let's say get remainder, like remainder operation. So self, okay. So it would return self dot num1 percentage sign self dot num2. Okay. Now if you are doing only if basically whenever, let's suppose if you are only using financial calculator, okay, or let's say just simple calculator, let's say simple calculator, simple calc, simple calculator, num1 is let's say 10 and 2. Okay, simple calc dot, you will only have limited number of functions. You will have multiplication, addition, division, that's it, and subtraction, right? So suppose if I do multiplication, it will give you the answer. Simple calc dot division will give you the answer. Simple calc dot addition will give you the answer. But can you do remainder and can you do loan? Are you able to find the other functions? No, right? You can't do it. Similarly, if you initiate the financial calc, so financial calculator, I will give 10 and 2. Again, same. If I say financial calc, what is the only one function which I have here? Only loan. So see, loan. That's it. If you call financial calculator dot addition, it will give you an error. So basically you can't combine both of them. That is the reason I have created this universal calculator. If I say universal calc equal to universal calculator 10 and 2. Okay. Now if I see, you will have each and every function available, whatever we have defined in 3 of the classes: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, loan, and remainder. See, if I say addition, it will give me the answer. Universal dot loan, it will give me the answer. Universal dot remainder, it will give me the answer. So this is how you can inherit the properties from both of the classes. Okay, and use in your use basically all the properties from both of these classes inside one class. So you may ask that why exactly is this required? So this is required so that, so what happens typically in an open source world where we are basically like, you whenever you will be writing softwares, right, or writing programs, it wouldn't be like you are the only one who will be writing the programs. Okay, there can be multiple team members who will be writing the same program or any related similar type of program. So instead of rewriting the entire code base once again, you can use the classes and their properties inside your class, and you can utilize them for making sure that your code is as less as your coding is as less as possible, whereas you are reusing the code. It is easier for you to add all these functionalities. It is easier to do this, and it is easier to collaborate. It is easier to instead of like uh, writing the same code again and again and again, you can use all of these readily available functions and create your own class. So whenever you have to inherit the properties from other class to your own derived class, you will use inheritance. This is the concept of inheritance in not just Python programming language or any programming language. So we saw simple inheritance where we are using just one class. We are deriving the properties only from one class. We saw multi-level inheritance where it is like there is a main class, and then you like the concept is uh, like parent class, child class, and then grandchild class. Like dada hai, dada ke abba hai, and then aap ho. So that is the multi-level inheritance. And what is difference between multi-level and multiple? In multiple, you are using multiple. Like आप क्या कर रहे हो? आप आपके cousins के साथ मतलब whatever cousin के साथ अपना food या जो भी share कर रहे हो. That is multiple inheritance. Like you are sharing from different across different properties. Right? That is the difference between multi-level and multiple inheritance. And to be very honest, we generally don't use, we generally, at a very rare scenario, we use multi-level or multiple inheritance. Mostly like you use single inheritance only. The first one, what we saw, right? That is what it is being used most of the times. Okay. But it is also, you have to understand all of these others as well. Any doubts? I can copy paste it on the chat box. Yeah, any doubts?
Shadir bhai, scroll down, please.
Shadir, can you scroll up to the saving account lines? I'm getting an error. Bank account takes no arguments.
Can you give the code on the chat box? Or if you want to share the screen, you can also share that as well.
I shared the screen.
One error, if you see all on the init function, right, you have used only one underscore. You should use double underscore. Even in checking account and saving account. Can you run now? Okay. Yeah, you have to run it once again. Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah. Now, if you like run the or any like bank account dot get account number or get account details, you will find it everything. You will find yeah. No, no, not a bank account is in small, right? The object which you have created was in small letters. You can say get account, get account whatever GET and then tab, or even right now tab. Yeah, get number. Since you're calling the function, you should, yes.